Okay, write this down, please. Today you're going to use those sine, cosine, and tangent ratios that you practiced yesterday to find angle measures in triangles. And you need to know that if sine of angle A is equal to 3 over 5, then the measure of angle A is equal to sine -1 of 3/5. If sine of angle A equals 3/5, then the measure of angle A is equal to sine -1 of 3/5. And I'll show you how to use that to find angle measures. If you got a right triangle, and this is what you're going to be doing in here today and tomorrow and Friday. And 5. Okay, if you're asked to find the measure of angle A, here's how the ratios from yesterday are going to work. You identify the angle that you're trying to find a measure of. In this case, it's angle A. Then you look at the sides that are given in relation to angle A. And yesterday, the acronym Sohcahtoa was the shortcut to remember sine, cosine, and tangent and what they're equal to. So in relation to angle A, you've got the opposite side and you have the hypotenuse. If you're trying to find an angle measure and you know the opposite side and the hypotenuse, you're going to be working with sine, because sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. When you're finding angle measures, you're going to write sine -1 of the opposite side, which is 3, over the hypotenuse, which is 5. Now, when you type this in your calculator, and depending on which calculator you're using, you're going to have to enter it differently. But if you're using that TI-30XA, you're going to type 3 divided by 5 equals. Then you're going to push the second button, which is the green button, and you're going to push the sine button. And what does it tell you? 36.86. And today and tomorrow and Friday, you're going to be rounding degree measures to the nearest whole number. So this angle A is 37 degrees. You're pushing the green button because behind the sine button in green letters is sine -1. The green button activates the green letters, or tells the button to do the function that's in green.
Wait, how did you say to do it?
3 divided by 5 equals, then you push the green button, which is your second button, and you push the sine button. And you should get 36.86. That rounds, we're going to use whole numbers for the angles. So now you've got angle A, you know that angle B is 90, and you need to find angle C. Well, the two acute angles in a right triangle are complementary. So angle C is going to be equal to your 90 minus the 37. Okay, so angle C is equal to 53 degrees. So finding one of the angles using sine to the -1, step 1. Subtract that angle from 90 is step 2. Then your third step is going to be to find the missing side of the triangle. So now you can label the sides of the triangle. You can label these A, B, and C. The sides that form the 90 are A and B. So A squared plus 3 squared equals 5 squared. A squared plus 9 equals 25. And you can subtract 9 from each side. A squared equals 16, and radical each side. So your A, or your third side of this triangle, is equal to 4. Alright, so let's try another one. The problems that you get today are going to start off, you're going to be given two sides. And you're going to be asked to solve the triangle. Solve the triangle in this case means to find the two other angle measures and the third side of the triangle. Now, when you're finding these two other angle measures, you can solve for x first or z first. It's your choice. And since we just did one with hypotenuse, right? Alright, so here we don't have hypotenuse. So let's find angle x first. So if you highlight that angle, because that's the angle you're trying to find, you write your acronym, Sohcahtoa, and then you identify the sides that are given in relation to angle x. And in this case, it's opposite and adjacent. So if you're working with opposite and adjacent, you're going to use tan. So now you're finding an angle. It's tan -1 of, you take your opposite side over your adjacent side. So in your calculator, it's 15 divided by 7 equals, and then second tan. And what is that as a whole number? 65 degrees. So your angle x up here is 65 degrees. So then you take 90 minus 65. I think it's 25. 25 degrees is your angle z. Third step is to find this hypotenuse, or the third side of the triangle. So you label them A, B, and C. 7 squared plus 15 squared equals C squared. So 49 plus 225 equals C squared. What's 49 plus 225? So 274 equals C squared. And you find the square root of that. On your side lengths, you're going to round those to the nearest tenth. So the square root of 274, 16.6. So your hypotenuse in this problem is 16.6. All right, let's do another one. I'm going to put the triangle on the wall. I want you to do as much of it as you can without looking up. And then don't look up unless you get stuck. Here's the triangle, ABC. Going to give you two sides of it. And ask you to solve it. So you need to find angle A, angle C, and side AB. You done? Nice job. You got that? Very good. Anybody stuck or have a question?
I have a question. How do you know which one to use?
How do you know which one to use? That's a great question. I chose to find angle A first. Since I chose angle A, and I was given opposite and hypotenuse, opposite and hypotenuse is a sine ratio. So when you choose your angle, the side lengths that are given, whatever they get labeled, this was, like I said, was opposite and hypotenuse. I use sine because sine deals with opposite over hypotenuse. If you would have chose to find angle C first, now in relation to angle C, you've got adjacent and hypotenuse, right? So if you're given adjacent and hypotenuse, you would have used cosine. It's all a matter of which angle you choose, and then what are the relationships of the sides that are given. If you're working with opposite and adjacent, you would use tan. Okay? Anybody else have a question about solving a triangle? You choose an angle, you solve for that angle. You subtract that angle from 90, it gives you the other angle. You use the Pythagorean theorem to find the third side. All right, then your assignment is on page 573. You're doing problems 12 through 15. Don't follow the directions that are in the book. I want you to solve each of those triangles. That means find the 2 missing angles and the 1 missing side. Round your angles to the nearest whole number and your sides to the nearest tenth.